Have you ever talked to someone who grew up in the 1970s and thought, why are they so calm? Like, no panic, no constant overthinking, no I'm falling behind in life meltdown at 2 a.m. They'll tell you stories like, yeah, we'd disappear all day, no phone, no GPS, just vibes. And you're sitting there thinking, I panic if my Wi-Fi drops for 10 seconds. So what did growing up in the 1970s do to their brain? And more importantly, what can we steal from it to survive school stress, burnout, procrastination, and creator life today? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why 70s kids feel mentally unbreakable and how to rebuild that mindset in a world that never shuts up. And no, this isn't a back in my day rant. This is psychology, and it's powerful. Let's start with something simple. People who grew up in the 1970s lived in a world without constant stimulation. No endless notifications, no algorithm deciding what they should feel next, no pressure to reply instantly or post daily to stay relevant. Their brains learned something ours didn't: how to be bored. And before you scroll, this is important. Boredom wasn't a problem back then. It was normal. And psychologically, boredom trained their brains to self-generate focus, creativity, and patience. When there was nothing to do, they didn't reach for dopamine. They made something happen. Now think about us. The second things get quiet, we grab our phone, we open YouTube, we refresh Instagram, we tell ourselves we're just taking a break. But our brain never learns to sit with discomfort. And here's the cliffhanger part: that discomfort is where discipline is born. In the 1970s, kids solved their own problems. If you got lost, you figured it out. If you fought with a friend, you handled it face to face. If something broke, you tried to fix it before replacing it. That built something called internal locus of control. Big psychology term, simple meaning. They believed, what happens to me is mostly influenced by what I do. Now compare that to today. Bad grades? The system is broken. Low views? The algorithm hates me. Burned out? Life is unfair. Sometimes that's true. But when everything feels external, motivation collapses. 70s kids didn't wait to feel motivated. They acted first. And motivation followed. And here's the twist. That's exactly how productivity works. Let me make this relatable. You sit down to study. Your brain says, I don't feel like it. So you wait. Minutes pass. Hours pass. Guilt builds. But people who grew up in the 70s were trained differently. They didn't ask, do I feel like doing this? They asked, does this need to be done? That mindset alone separates consistent people from talented but stuck people. And yes, this applies to creators too. You don't skip posting because you're lazy. You skip because your brain expects perfect conditions. 70s brains didn't wait for perfect conditions. They worked with what they had. And that's why they look mentally tougher today. Another huge difference? Delayed gratification. In the 1970s, if you wanted something, you waited. For letters, for TV shows, for opportunities. Waiting wasn't torture, it was normal. Today, we get irritated if a video buffers for 3 seconds. And this rewires your brain in dangerous ways. When everything is instant, effort feels painful, long-term goals feel boring, consistency feels impossible. That's why people quit after 2 weeks. Gym, studying, YouTube, business. But 70s kids were trained to play the long game. They didn't expect results tomorrow. They expected progress eventually. And here's the micro cliffhanger. You can train that skill again, faster than you think. Let's talk about stress. People who grew up in the 1970s experienced stress differently. They had problems, but not constant ones. No 24/7 news cycle. No comparison to a million strangers online. No pressure to optimize every second of their life. Stress came in waves, not floods. Your brain needs recovery time. But today, stress never shuts off. Even when you rest, your phone keeps you alert. 70s brains learned how to fully switch off. That's why they sleep better. Why they don't spiral as fast. Why they don't burn out over every setback. And burnout? Burnout isn't caused by hard work. It's caused by no mental recovery. That's a lesson we desperately need. Now here's something nobody talks about: failure. In the 1970s, failure was private. You failed a test? Only your teacher knew. You embarrassed yourself? It wasn't recorded forever. That made failure survivable. Today, failure feels public, permanent, humiliating. So people avoid trying. But psychologically, the 70s taught people this: failing is information, not identity. That's why they bounce back faster. And if you're scared to start, this is why. You're not afraid of failing. You're afraid of being seen failing. Different problem, different solution. So how do we rebuild a 1970s-style brain in 2025? Here's where it gets practical. Tonight, yes, tonight, sit in boredom for 10 minutes. No phone, no music, no background noise. It will feel uncomfortable. That's the point. You're retraining your brain to self-regulate. Second, do one task without waiting to feel ready. 5 minutes. That's it. Not perfect, not intense, just started. That single action rebuilds internal control. Third, create artificial waiting. Delay small rewards. Finish the task. Then scroll. Study, then snack. You're teaching your brain patience again, and patience is productivity's secret weapon. Here's the final psychological shift. People who grew up in the 1970s didn't obsess over self-improvement. They focused on responsibility, not how do I optimize my life, but what needs to be handled today. Ironically, that made their lives better. We overthink growth. They embodied it, and that's the mindset shift you need. Less content, more action, less planning, more doing, less waiting to feel confident, more showing up anyway. So if you've been feeling behind, overstimulated, burned out, stuck despite knowing what to do, it's not because you're weak. Your brain just grew up in a louder world, but you can retrain it. Start small, start messy, start tonight. No phone, one task, 10 minutes. That's it. Try it. And if this helped even a little, stick around. We're rebuilding focus, discipline, and confidence together. Let's level up.